All right, welcome back to Good Day, Alabama. It's time to make some food.
It's time to make the coziest fall soup that you're going to need on your table this fall.
I mean, this is the guy to do it. Trace Barnett, he's the bitter socialite, and you are going to make us some country soup.
We are making cheesy collard green and white bean soup.
I mean, that's pretty country.
And it's
I like it.
And I mean, anything with collards is pretty country. You
Yeah.
know, my backyard's pretty filled with collards right now. It's one of my favorite things. I prefer collards over turnip greens, which I think is kind of a touchy subject. Either you like one or the other.
My mom loves some collard greens. I'm not a big collard greens person, but I think I'm going to be with this soup.
Oh, you are for sure. With all
right.
the cheese and heavy cream, bacon, wine, like how could you not be?
I'm in. Let's
So
do this.
first things first, you're going to need 2 bunches of collards. Now I saute my collards in a pan with bacon, onion on the stove. I don't do that whole mushy collard kind of thing, which is probably a lot of people are familiar with their
what I've had.
grandmothers.
Yeah.
So you want 2 bunches of collards, and this I just picked off a plant in my garden this morning. If you're dealing with fresh collards, first thing you want to do is wash, because you don't want any grit floating around in that soup. Grit is no good.
Okay.
So once you've washed those, go ahead, take this in your hand. I'm going to let you do it.
Okay.
And pull the stem away from the flesh there. Yeah, you're doing a fine job.
Yeah.
I was a little bit worried when Janice wasn't in here how good a cook Russell would actually be. But
my grandmother would have been proud.
so far, so
There you
good.
go.
Perfect. So after you've done that, take that in your hand and just kind of tear that apart into strips. Yep, directly onto our collards there. Another thing I want to add is it may look like you have way more collards than you think you're ever going to need, but collards are just like any other greens, spinach, turnip greens. They cook down to almost nothing. You got a little collard green
You got
dance
to twist
going.
and shout here.
A twist and shout as you twist the collards.
All right, there you go.
It's in a perfect ribbon form. You don't really want those large stems because the stems are kind of tough, and we don't want those tough, stringy stems into our collards. So in a large pan here, I have 4 slices of bacon that I've chopped up, 1 large onion, and 2 cloves
That looks good by itself.
And it just smell it. I mean, it's like everybody's been going by, and there's nothing like bacon and onion to get you going in the morning. So a couple cloves of garlic, I threw that in last 30 seconds. You want that to just smell fragrant. Fragrant.
Bugs Bunny.
Bugs Bunny snuck in there. Add in 2 cups of beef stock. And I add beef stock to this because that's what's going to give us that really robust flavor that we want to come from the pan. And when we threw that in there, you hear that sizzle? You want to get up all those pan drippings off that.
Plus, we're beefy.
We're beefy. We're big beefy. Yeah, we got all that collard protein.
That's right.
Okay, I'm going to add in a cup of wine. You can do red or white wine, and I was drinking red last night, so you know that's what we have today.
There you go.
So bring that up to a boil. I had our pan turned down just a little bit so our bacon didn't burn. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to add our collards directly into this pan. So if you just want to, grab a big handful there and just throw those babies directly in.
That's a lot of collards.
It looks like a lot of collards.
Okay.
But what we need is 4 cups of cooked collards for our soup, and this is really going to cook down. Now, to that, we are just going to season it with salt and pepper.
Okay.
A little bit of pepper, well, a lot of pepper.
Yeah.
A little bit of salt. And then here is the key. This is what my grandmama taught me, and I've always stood by this, is sugar. Sugar is the key to your collards, and that's about a teaspoon of sugar. A teaspoon of sugar, you can taste that as they cook down, and you'll know if you need to add more. We really want that sweet flavor to come out of those collards. Cover your collards, and you want to cook those down. In the steam, let those cook all the way down. You want to cook those 20 to 25 minutes, stirring occasionally once they start to cook down. So now let's get to our soup. Real quick though, this is absolute perfect side for anything in the fall. So like serve it next to pork, whatever, and then what I like to do is turn it into soup the next day.
Or make it for Thanksgiving. Your family members will think you're real fancy.
That make you real fancy. So we've got 4 cups
Got
of
about 1 minute left.
4 cups of cooked collard greens here. I'm going to add in 3 cups of chicken stock. I'm going to add in 4 cups of white beans. Now, this is 2 cans of regular white beans if you use can. I like to use beans that I soak and cook myself because the beans really hold their character as they cook in the soup. We're going to add 2 cups of sharp cheddar cheese, and we're going to add 2 cups of heavy cream.
Bring the old school milk.
Hey, the milkman left that at my house. So give that a good stir, and you want to cook this 18 to 20 minutes. You want all of this just to marry together. You want your cheese to melt, and it's just going to be this really good cheesy goodness that's going to be perfectly thick and collardy, ready for your table.
That is amazing. We're going to try it in just a minute. We got to go to a break, but we'll be back in just a second. Good job.
Oh, thank you. First rodeo. You did pretty good for your first kitchen experience.